just like tick the boxes and universities are guilty before being even legally charged.
We are back with the big deal. President Trump is escalating pressure on universities across the nation. This week, the White House froze millions of dollars in federal funding to Cornell and Northwestern universities. Last month, $400 million was pulled from Columbia University, with the administration now also calling for federal oversight of that school, according to the Wall Street Journal. The White House has also threatened funding for Brown, Harvard, Princeton, and the University of Pennsylvania, giving broad and sometimes vague reasons for those cuts. That includes the college's handling of anti-Semitism, diversity initiatives, and even rules for transgender athletes. And it doesn't stop there. We have seen several foreign students arrested and detained all around the nation for their participation in pro-Palestinian protests. And hundreds of others had their visas revoked without warning or notice, leaving them vulnerable to deportation. Joining me now to talk about what is going on here is David Bloomfield. He's a professor of educational leadership, law, and policy at Brooklyn College in the City University of New York. He also teaches at CUNY's Graduate Center. Great to see you.
Good to be here.
So in New York, Columbia University gave in to the Trump administration's demands. We see that Harvard is now facing similar demands, which include a ban on face masks and the elimination of Harvard's diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, as well as forced compliance with the Department of Homeland Security, a whole bunch of other demands. There's $9 billion worth of grants and contracts on the line for Harvard. But I actually want to focus on the sort of the morality and the goals of all of this. I mean, the White House says that it's trying to stop anti-Semitism. I know that you are somewhat skeptical of that claim. If that's not what this is about, then what is this all about?
So it's not about anti-Semitism. The lead editorial in the Harvard Crimson this morning says that it's not about anti-Semitism. This is about one-stop shopping for a whole raft of Trump talking points. A lot of bluster. It's not clear how much law is behind this, but it's a way to show his base that elites are under attack, that immigrants are under attack, that DEI, whatever that may be, and it's very vague in the Trump glossary. So just like tick the boxes and universities are guilty before being even legally charged.
The point of leverage tends to be the funding, and this is an eye-opener for me, that big private universities with gigantic endowments are still reliant on federal dollars.
Heavily reliant on federal dollars. Look, let's hope they don't go after Pell Grants. That's a student aid. This is the research base. And again, it's Trump going after research. Look who's the head of Health and Human Services. It's Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's a vaccine denier. So going after research is part of the Trump armory in animating his base.
What's the line of defense that you expect these universities to take?
Well, they haven't really shown a line of defense. The president of Princeton and others have pushed back rhetorically. But Harvard has already changed its Middle Eastern Studies program. They fired personnel. They even went so far as to change programming in its School of Divinity regarding Israel and Palestine. So this is, as they say, compliance in advance, and that doesn't keep the feds last week from calling for more changes to the way Harvard runs itself. And we know the story that's already out that maybe a consent decree will be demanded, court-ordered by the federal government against Columbia.
Let's talk about these international students. They're getting their visas revoked. It's not just happening at Ivy schools. It's also happening at public universities like the one where you teach here in New York. The Department of Homeland Security is not giving notice to students or explaining what led to the visa's termination. And it, of course, is creating a level of anxiety and uncertainty on a lot of campuses. Is that the goal?
Terrorism is the goal. We talk about terrorism on the left. This is terrorism on the right from the federal government. And this is an old playbook. You know, Charlie Chaplin was hounded out of the country for dissent. Emma Goldman was hounded out of the country. So they're just trying to suppress dissent. And this is an easy target because it also ticks that immigrant box. These are legal residents in the United States who I believe have a First Amendment right to speak out. They are not calling for violence. It's not fire in a crowded theater. This is the usual kind of thing that Americans are promised is what the rights of the country are.
Do you expect the White House to succeed here? I mean, these universities have a lot of prestige. They have a lot of cultural power. Harvard itself is more than a century older than the United States itself. I would think that they could possibly outlast a 48-month presidential administration.
Well, this goes back to something that you were talking about before. This is the corporate academic complex. And there's a lot riding in terms of the members of the Board of Trustees of these campuses. They're intertwined with corporations, with big law firms. And so it's clear to me that the college as the college would push back. It's not clear to me that the leadership of these universities is willing to push back because they have personal stakes in cozying up to the Trump administration.
So, okay, we'll see how all of this works out. Thanks so much, Professor. Great talking with you. Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Let Spectrum News be your resource for balanced, in-depth political coverage, and click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV to learn more about the candidates, where they stand on the issues, and more. We'll see you then.